And if you didn't know this, most of nature is outside. It's Christy with the Chirp YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about playing outside with kids with autism. This is a little part of my Playing with Kids with Autism series that I've kind of dipped in and out of over the past couple of months. As the mood strikes me, I film a video on a particular topic. Sometimes they're in order, sometimes they aren't. It just keeps the creative juices flowing. I hope you're doing well today. Here in Arizona right now, and in some other places around this beautiful globe, it is too hot to play outside right now. But in most of the world, this is the time, this is the prime time for being outside. And it also so happens that kids are usually, at least in the northern hemisphere, not in school right now, meaning that there's extra time to play outside. Of course, not all of us have as much time as others, but most of us have 20 minutes to play outside with a kid once a day. Not too bad. Also, you get a lot of benefits. Check out that video that I did on movement and how it helps the symptoms of autism, and also that video which I did on the benefits of nature. And if you didn't know this, most of nature is outside. This is going to be a 3-part video. So 3 successive weeks, you will get a little nugget of information about playing outside with a kid with autism. I'm going to start out with the beginner stage of playing outside. And your main 2 tasks in this stage are going to be labeling stuff and sharing excitement. I think that's pretty easy, so let's talk through what I mean by that. Labeling stuff is, you go outside in the backyard, you see a bird, you say, ah, bird! This is actually doing both things at once. But when you say, ah, bird, you want to look at the kid. Hopefully the kid, hearing your excitement, will look back at you and be excited too. You have shared an important emotional moment. This is called engagement. Autism is actually a disability of engagement. It's not as much a problem of communication and sensory needs and all that. The basic underlying deficiency is engagement. Kids who are not engaged can't communicate because they haven't learned how to communicate, because they haven't been engaged with the world around them. Possibly because they were distracted by sensory needs that weren't necessarily acknowledged or getting met in the way that they needed because they couldn't communicate it. But engagement is the building block of developing all these other skills. When we are outside, there's a lot to label. There's a lot to be excited about because outside is amazing. You can label animals, you can label things you see like grass, rocks, buildings, airplanes. You can label flowers. If you know the names of flowers, you can teach your child the name of flowers. I just like to use very simple words like flower, leaf, egg. I walked out of my front door this morning and I saw a piece of an egg that had clearly hatched a baby bird out of it. That's super cool. I was very excited, and I did not have anyone to share that excitement with. But now I have shared it with you. So we have shared a moment of engagement. That is your first task, label stuff. Sharing excitement can be the excitement that you show. Sharing excitement can also be tuning in to what your child is interested in, should also be tuning into what your child is interested in and being excited along with your child about that. At this stage, the beginner stage, the child is probably not very communicative yet in a way that you understand. The child is probably not very verbal, And that's why we're doing these things that are building blocks of communication, because then as the child advances, we can build other skills on top of these. And the very basic foundation is engagement. I share my excitement about something. I tune into the child's excitement. So if my child is looking at the ground, I'm going to get down on the ground. I'm going to look at the ground too, and I'm going to say, "Oh, an ant! Ant!" I'm going to label the thing my child is looking at. I'm going to show a lot of excitement in my face because ants are cool. They do amazing things. And who cares what I think? Tune into what the kid thinks. The kid obviously thinks that ant is interesting. Therefore, I also need to treat that ant as interesting because this will build a bridge of engagement between me and this child. Do you see what I mean by engagement and sharing excitement? This is a pretty easy stage when it comes to being outside. Let's practice. We already went to our backyard and we saw a bird, we saw some leaves, we saw an ant and a rock. Let's go to the park where there is some playground equipment. Maybe there are swings, slides, maybe there's a splash pad. There are a lot of fun things happening at this park. We want to label them. Not only do we want to label things, such as swing, teeter-totter, seesaw. What do you call it? I think I grew up calling it both, but I don't know why I would use one over the other. Teeter-totter was the first thing that came to mind, and it's such a silly word. Well, anyway, there's that thing, whatever you call it. There's the water. There's perhaps a spinning thing. What do you call those? All I can think of is centrifuge, and I'm pretty sure that we do not call those things centrifuges. But you know what I mean, where the kid gets on and spins around. Many children with autism love those things because it's a spinning thing. But I haven't actually seen one at a modern playground lately. Sometimes they have those ridey things. There are all sorts of fun things. I haven't been to a playground outside in a while and actually played with a kid outside. So I don't have the right words in my vocabulary to label things at the park at the moment. I need to come up with some new words for these things. Practice before you go. Look at all the things and make up names for them if you don't know what their real names are. It's fine to call something a digger. You don't have to call it an excavator, even though you could if you want. My brother taught his daughter when she was itty bitty that this, where the food goes down into your stomach, is called your esophagus. And so she went to the doctor. I don't know if she was 2 or 3 years old, and he said, "Open your mouth, I want to look at your throat." And she said, "What's a throat?" And he was really worried. The doctor was very worried because she didn't know what a throat was. And my brother said, "He means your esophagus." And then the doctor was impressed because my brother had taught her a medical word. So feel free to teach your kids big words. It's kind of cute. He also taught her the word absconded. So whenever the dog took a toy and ran away, he said, "Lily absconded with my toy." And then my little niece would use the word abscond, which was super adorable. All right, back to the topic at hand. Label the equipment. As your child approaches the swing and acts like she wants to swing, say, "Swing, swing." Model for her how to ask for the swing. "Swing, please." Once she's on the swing, model how to request a push. "Push, please." You don't have to use the word please. I like to because then it's a phrase rather than just one word. But if your child is totally nonverbal, you can start with just one word, push. Remember to when you're modeling language for a child, speak as if you are the child. So don't say, "Do you want to push?" Because then when your child, who may repeat phrases exactly as she hears them, when your child repeats it, it won't come out properly. It'll come out, "You want to push?" instead of, "I want a push, please." So instead, model exactly the way that you would want her to repeat it if she repeated exactly what you said. Pretend she's a parrot and she's going to say exactly what you say. So don't say, "Polly, want a cracker?" Say, "I want a cracker." And then your parrot will learn appropriately to say, "I want a cracker." Same with the child. Teach her how to say, push, please. I want swings. I want digger. Sometimes those riding things have little scoops on the front. They're cute. I want splash. And then you can play in the splash pad. There's the labeling. Of course, whenever anything interesting happens, show a lot of excitement in your face. Every once in a while, run around the swing and stop it. And her face will probably go. She'll be very excited because you did something unexpected. We want to do unexpected things, not scary unexpected things, fun unexpected things, so that we are fun and so that we are more fun than not interacting with a person. We want kids to get the idea, the true idea, of course, that human beings are really fun. A lot of times our kids with autism are overwhelmed by the social world, by the sensory world, and interacting with people can be too much for them. Can we all relate to this? Post-COVID, I feel like human beings are just a little bit too much. I've been alone in my house with my husband and my cats for a year and a half now, and other people seem a little bit much to me. So we can all sort of picture how it might be for some of our kids who are who are sensitive. So you want to do fun things, but you don't want to push your kid over the edge so that your child is falling apart or having a meltdown or really upset. We want it to be fun. Usually what I do when I'm swinging a child is, if possible, I push from the front, push, and every once in a while I'll grab the sides of the swing and say, stop! And the child will usually laugh, and then I'll say, push, and I'll push the child again. And eventually the child starts trying to say, stop, because that part's really fun. And the reason it's fun is because it's surprising, and because it's unexpected and unpredictable, and because we both lock eyes with a silly face, and it builds relationship. Our kids with autism want relationship just as much as everyone else does. It's more difficult because there is that social deficit and there is a communication deficit, and most of the time people don't understand the sensory deficits either, so there are all these blockages in the way. But labeling things, modeling that language for our kids, and sharing excitement to build engagement are the foundation of building those kind of relationships that we all want. This was stage 1 in playing outside with kids with autism. Come back next time for stage 2. Thank you for being here today. I hope you have a wonderful week. Oh, please don't forget, of course, YouTube tells me, remind your viewers all the time to subscribe, to cling the bell, to leave comments. So if you want to, do those things. It would also help me to make more videos if you forward the good ones to your friends so that I get some feedback and so that these videos can go forth into the world and change people's lives and help kids. I hope you have a great day. See you next time.